I'm Stephen Jondrew.
I'm Chris Farrell.
And I'm Steve Boyd, and we're the hosts of Walking the Walking Dead,
a podcast member of the Gonna Geek Network.
Just like the one you're listening to now.
The opinions expressed are those of each individual.
Check out other podcasts at GonnaGeekNetwork.com.
Now get ready, because geekiness begins in 3,
2,
1.
Welcome back to Tyrion's Landing. We'll be talking spoiler-free about the latest episode of HBO's Game of Thrones, which, unless you're one of the poor, unfortunate souls that didn't get to watch the first 4 episodes, we feel your pain, brah.
Aww.
I'm Jeannie, and joining me tonight, as always, is Rachel. How are you tonight, Rachel?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Can't wait to talk about this stuff.
I know, it was a good episode.
Yes, it was. Nikki is also here. Hey, Nikki.
Hola, señoritas.
Hola. ¿Cómo está?
Dora didn't teach me. I thought we went over this. Dora didn't teach me that.
Then stop trying to talk in foreign languages.
Fine.
And joining us tonight once again is Lauren. Hey, Lauren.
Hey!
Yay.
Hooray. From the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. podcast, among other things.
Yes, Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D.
And if you're curious about where to find us, just look up Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. We are everywhere.
Everywhere.
We are Legion.
Hail Hydra.
Nice.
So let's talk about the episode.
Oh my god. I have lots of notes about this episode. Or as I've dubbed it, the episode where everyone doesn't understand anything that's really going on.
Yeah, that was pretty much it.
The episode where Arya Martell is not appearing in this episode.
Yeah. So this is The House of Black and White, directed by Michael Slovis again, and also written again by Dave and Dan. The quote for the episode we liked is, I taught Sir Davos and old people are terrible at learning new things.
It's so true.
From Shireen. A couple of fun little tidbits. Almost every major faction in the series appears in this episode, except for House Bolton, House Frey, who we haven't seen since season 3, and House Tully, also last seen in season 3, and House Greyjoy. The episode marks the return of Myrcella. She was last seen in season 2 when she left for Dorne, and she was played at that time by Amy Richardson. They have once again recast the role with Nell Tiger Free. And this was the second of the 4 that leaked online. We had 3 deaths: Mosador, the son of the Harpy, and the Baelish Guard. So let's start with Braavos. We open the episode with Terry's and Arya's arriving in Braavos, and I want to know who here would not look up the skirt of that statue as you're going under.
That was the first thing I thought of. Does it have a gigantic bronze dong?
Or is he wearing briefs or boxers? Or neither?
No, dude, commando. Commando all the way.
I'm pretty sure he's commando.
I don't know.
See, when I was reading the book,
under that.
yeah, when I was reading the book, the first thing I thought was, I bet that thing has a gigantic bronze penis. And again, when I was watching the show and they're going under, I'm like, I bet that thing has a gigantic bronze penis.
Oh gosh. So Terry's drops Arya off at the House of Black and White, and they tell her, go away.
Well, after she's like, Jack and Hagar sent me here. And they're like, who? Jack and Hagar. Who? There's nobody here. Goodbye. She's like, what the hell? And then she just sits there, and I feel so bad. I'm like, you left a little kid in the rain.
Well, they had to make sure, you know?
Steve's yelling at the screen, knock on the other door!
That's what I was thinking, too. You gotta knock on both of them and just keep coming back. And, like, it's like Girl Scouts. You don't take no for an answer when you try to sell them cookies.
Or she could have just drawn like a fake mustache on him, like, yes, this is Jack and Hagar. I need to get in. They're like, no.
And later we see her hunting, and she encounters some boys who want to take her sword from her. I did like her. I did like her response to them. Nothing's worth anything to a dead man.
Yeah.
That was actually one of the quotes that I picked, and I had to go through. I'm like, okay, which one's better? Shireen being all funny, talking the truth about old people, or Arya about to fuck up some people?
So, and of course she sees the guy from the House of the Black and White, who leads her back to the House of Black and White, and he turns into Jaqen.
Okay, I wanted to ask y'all about this. Do you think it's actually our Jaqen that we knew, or do you think that he's just like using that face?
I think
Like
he's
a
just
different
using
dude
that face.
Yeah.
Because it, from what it seems like, they can just change their face whenever.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say any spoilers, but it just seems
I know,
like
right? It's so hard.
it seems like they're just like, oh yeah, this guy, yeah, I didn't know who you were talking about. Yeah, this is no one. His name's not Jaqen.
I know it's for the purposes of the show and just not introducing yet another character to confuse us with. But in, the sense of meta, I was wondering if y'all thought that too. Cause I was thinking, oh hey, just give her a familiar face, but it's a different dude because Jaqen's off doing Jaqen-y stuff.
Honestly, that hadn't even occurred to me.
Oh, yeah, it occurred to me.
I was just too thrilled to see Jaqen again.
But not naked
I was
Jaqen. Come on.
completely thrilled.
A man can get it.
But yeah, his,
I was completely thrilled, but I still don't think it's like him.
okay.
See,
Now
this
that
is
I
what's
think about it,
difficult.
yeah.
This is what's difficult about talking about a group of people who can change their appearance at will. It's like, unless you're psychic or something, so you can point out, oh, I know that guy's brain. You never know who you're talking to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They need name tags. And even then, they can switch around their name tags like a bunch of dicks.
Hey, I used to
Well,
do
they
that
are
at
no one.
Albertsons.
They are no one, and that is what a girl must become.
Aw.
Yeah, but how do you know which no one you're talking to? You'd be like, hey, can the no one who told me they'd lend me $5 for a cheese sandwich, like, give me that $5?
Well,
and they could just get out of it by saying, oh, no, that was another no one.
Well, if
Did
they're
you
no
just-
one, does it matter?
Yeah, because I want that $5.
You know what that kind of reminded me of? The story of Odysseus with the Cyclops. Where he
Yes.
stabs the Cyclops and they're like, who stabbed you? It's like, nobody stabbed
No
me.
one.
And they're like, oh God, this idiot. But that's what it reminds me when they're like, no, you have to be no one. And then it's like, like you said, she can get away and like, I'm no one.
All right, and let's move on to the Tyrion and Varys road trip.
Oh my God, I loved this.
We're going to have to record that song so we can just play that for when Tyrion and Varys are on the road. The Tyrion and Varys road trip.
I'm totally going to work on that now.
Okay.
Nice.
Of course, Tyrion is continuing to drink himself to death.
He didn't say that he was going to do that, so he was true to his word.
So when we were watching that scene, okay, my husband and I are huge fans of Metalocalypse. We watched the marathon on our honeymoon, okay? So while we were watching it, my husband said next to me, goes, I'd rather chop off my ding dong than admit booze ain't food. Which is like 20 times funnier because he's talking to Varys.
Oh, good times.
Very good times except for Varys.
Ouch.
I did like that opening, though. There's a bug.
But that was a really nice carriage that they had. Like, you could walk through it. I'm like, wow. And
It's like an old
Varys and
timey
Varys-
RV.
Yes. It's like wow, you guys travel in style.
Varys is not one to go without his amenities if he doesn't have to.
Yeah,
So
I
I've got
just don't get that impression from him.
I feel like he could if he had to, but I mean, why would you?
Yeah, exactly.
Because you don't have to.
Exactly. So of all the scenes that have been added to the show that weren't in the books, pretty much every one that has to do with Varys is like my new favorite. Because
Right.
he's just like, he's, forget Master of Whispers, he's Master of Snark. I love it.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. I did like seeing Tyrion admit that he did like the power that he was able to have. Varys pointing out to him that he was good with the power when he had it, but Varys is saying, I could have left and I should have left, but I didn't because I liked it. I mean, but at the same time, who wouldn't like? There's not a whole lot of people who once they have a taste of power don't like it.
Well, yeah, and you're talking about two people who would have never had power any other way.
Right.
Right. Well, and they say that, he's a eunuch. Varys is a eunuch. Tyrion is a dwarf.
And together they fight crime.
Nice.
I'm sorry, I had to do it.
The world sees them as abominations, and they think the world is an abomination in and of itself. So.
Yeah. They're both really interesting characters, and I love seeing the two of them together.
Yeah. And Tyrion rhetorically asks if Cersei's going to kill every dwarf in the world in the hope of eventually catching him.
And then we cut to Cersei.
I'm thinking, and then we cut to Cersei, and I'm thinking, yeah.
It's not him.
You poor summer dwarf. You just don't know how much she hates you.
Oh, yeah, he's aware. He's aware.
I just wanted to ask, what was the better smash cut? Was it this, or was it Ramsay eating sausage from last season?
Ew.
Ramsay eating sausage, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to top that one. This comes close.
It comes close, but
you can't top that.
Whoever's doing the editing, I mean, congrats on your sense of humor. I love it.
But let's back up on the King's Landing scenes a little bit and go to the first one we see where Cersei is sitting behind that desk with that box. Now, I got the impression, after Jaime opened it, which it's gross.
It's just a
Cersei
snake.
put that box back together just so that he could open it and see it too.
Hey, Cersei's a drama queen.
Yeah, that's what I got. Also, you guys, Jeannie, don't check our Tyrion's Landing Twitter feed. There's a snake on there.
Yeah, I saw that.
Sorry.
Yeah, I saw that.
Aw. I like snakes.
Yeah, she, Nikki was live tweeting the show on Sunday, and she made mention of a snake, and a snake appeared in the Twitter and said, "Ooh, hello."
That was the most disgusting thing in the whole wide world.
I like snakes.
I
was happy to see you. No, it was smiling.
No, it wasn't. It was going to kill us.
No,
I'm not the biggest fan of snakes, but I'm
They're
not
wiggly
these two.
babies.
But you're afraid of sharks. I think snakes are worse than sharks.
You're more likely to die from a snake than a shark.
Same.
That is actually true.
And especially here in Texas and Arizona, Rachel, we're going to die. But back to Cersei being a drama queen with this viper. Like, oh my God, really? Like that, Cersei, come on, just spit it out already, please.
Well, I think the thing that made me angriest about that particular scene was Cersei has always been very driven by her emotion, but at the same time, she has always been very self-preserving.
Yes, and then this whole scene where, like, okay, so even, like, the whole point where Jaime's like, shh, you can't say that there are children out loud. And she's like, I don't care. I'm like, okay, so let's say that
you haven't been to a father to them. Well, duh.
Right.
Well, yeah.
Let's just
for
say that somebody
reasons.
does hear that you've just said that now these kids are between you and Jaime and not Robert the King. You're going to lose your power. You lose everything. Really?
Well, I think they did that. Obviously, they did that on purpose. And my observation was Cersei, in her anger, is getting ever more internally focused. She's not seeing the big picture anymore.
Oh, no.
She is legitimately fearful for Marcella, as she should be. That was a direct threat. That was obviously a direct threat. But taking it out on, and she's taking it out on Jaime because Jaime's convenient. And he's always been there. But she's more and more internally focused and not seeing the big picture anymore.
Yeah. And I don't know that it was necessarily a threat as much as it was a reminder.
No, at first I thought it was just a reminder, but then after seeing Dorne, it's like, okay, maybe it wasn't a direct threat against Marcella, but it was an implied threat. Like, we have your kid and this is what we can hurt her, basically.
I'm fairly certain Ilaria sent it.
I think so. That seems like something that she would do, given her, like, ranting later.
Yeah, exactly. And so, of course, Jaime decides he's going to Dorne to get Marcella.
With his one hand.
With his one hand. And Cersei makes fun of him for going with his one hand. And he goes and gets Bronn. Hooray!
Yay!
How much fun was the Bronn and Tyrion show, and now we're going to have the Bronn and Jaime show.
It's going to be amazing. Lannister bros and Bronn.
Okay, so really quick, did anybody else think that Bronn was like subtly threatening the sister?
Yes.
Because he's like, oh, we're not going to live here, and he's like, no. Lolly says like, no, my sister lives here, but she's super mean. And he's like, oh, you know what they say about mean people. It always comes back to them like, oh, you know what,
he was going to shank her. He was going to shank her.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Bronn does what's necessary for Bronn.
Yes, he does.
And he wanted that castle.
I loved that. I loved that scene so much, by the way. Like, I just loved seeing Lawless, even though she's like nothing like her book counterpart. But she was just so, glad to have somebody to listen to her. And Bronn was like, I want all of your land and money.
They eat pigeon pie in the capital.
And Bronn was like, I know. Yeah.
Sure.
Streets are paved with cheese, whatever.
I did like, though, who is that? It's Jaime fucking Lannister. And can we stop for a second and just admire how good Nikolai looked in that leather? Holy moly.
Yes. I miss the beard, though. I miss the beard.
Yeah, but he still looked...
he still looked great in that jacket. That was an awesome jacket.
He did. Out of his armor and in that tight-fitting leather. Nice.
There is a reason we added him to the stables, ladies.
Absolutely. And he broke Bronn's betrothal.
So question on that. So do you think that was something on his part, or do you think Cersei really did go back on her word? Because I feel like he talked Cersei into it. He's like, hey, I'm going to take this guy, break this. And she's like, okay, whatever, get lost.
No, I think he broke. He had it broken. I think he had her do it. Or he might have drawn it up himself.
Is he left-handed? I'm sorry, that was mean.
That's what scribes are for.
Exactly.
To forge stuff?
I'm sorry, my little Arya Pop Funko is just standing next to me and giving me Lannister hate. I like Jaime.
No, they don't. Scribes don't forge. They just dictate.
No. I think they secretly forge as well.
They just take this dictation. That's all that they do. After that, if the forging of the seal, that's all Jaime. If that happened, that would be Jaime. That would not be the scribe, because the scribes are not the ones who seal it.
Oh, Jaime. I can't wait to see him in Dornish gear. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah. Because let's face it, it's impractical to wear leather, like that much leather, in a desert.
No, it's
not.
not.
I want to show, come on, Jaime, show some skin.
Or lots of it.
So let's cut back to the scene where we started talking about with Cersei and Qyburn and the head. And Qyburn wants the head.
Honestly, okay, yeah, it's gross, but you can make a shrunken head out of it. I was watching Mysteries of the Museum.
Oh, you totally can.
Yeah, and they showed you how to do it, so now I want to do it.
No, I totally learned how off of the Discovery Channel when I was a kid. Because that's how, yeah, and I can tell, like, fake heads from, like, the ones they sell to tourists. You have to look for the facial hair.
You guys are so weird.
How long have you known us?
Yeah. I would have thought that was a given. Really? Have I not told you guys about my goal to make a real shrunken head?
No.
Well, you just
But
did.
where
so.
are you going to get a human skull with the flesh still on it?
Okay. Yeah, see, that's the thing. You don't want the skull. You just want the skin and the
Yeah.
hair.
You're gonna cut the back
you
of the
got to
skull?
take the skull out. Of course, I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And do you
Yeah,
think
and then you can use the skull for other
of course.
stuff.
I mean, everybody knows that.
Well, I mean,
but
yeah.
I was just going to point out, do you really think that I haven't researched this as well?
Oh my God!
You're amazing,
So is
Rachel.
G the only one here that hasn't researched how to make shrunken heads?
Yes.
I remember reading an article that they weren't real.
No,
No,
they
they're real.
are. They totally are.
They're just rare.
And
Like,
now-
true shrunken heads
I
are
didn't
rare.
want to know more.
Okay, but that dwarf head, shrunken head.
Oh.
Ooh, I wonder if it would be a tiny shrunken head, like tinier than a regular one.
No, because it's a regular sized head.
Aw, sad face. Well, at least it had the really cool scar.
Oh my God.
It's not a real scar, though. They, like, just sliced it into that poor dwarf's face.
They did.
Yeah.
And on the
After
wrong
he was
side,
dead.
too.
After he was dead, I'm like, there's clearly no healing going on.
You guys scare me sometimes. Okay, so let's talk about the small council.
Can I just say that I loved Kevin Lannister and the way that he saw
yes.
through Cersei and walked out like, oh, I'm done with your bullshit
Owned her
juices.
so hard.
Well, yes and no. I think in many ways he basically continued where Tywin left off with her in completely dismissing her, completely disrespecting her abilities and dismissing them completely and not taking her seriously.
No, I don't think that's what he was doing at all. He was telling her, you are not acting on in the king's best interest. When you are, come talk to me again.
Yeah, I think he's just saying, I don't have time for your shit that you're trying to pull. I got other stuff to do.
Yeah, he made a point of, and I think that was the difference between Joffrey and Tommen. Like, if you see how Tywin treated Joffrey, he was like, dude, go to bed without your supper. Whereas
As he should have.
Yeah, and then with Tommen, he took the time to try to school him and tutor him on how to be a king. And I think that's what Kevin wanted. Like, dude, he's the king. Why is he not here learning? He's in the back playing with Sir Pounce.
I wished that was my total theory of what he was actually doing. Just him and Marjorie chilling with the cats. And I really wish they had shown that.
Yeah.
That is actually more important stuff to be doing because, let's face it, cats are awesome.
Okay, so how hard did you roll your eyes at Mace Tyrell preening at her place?
I was waiting for someone to say, shut up, Mace!
Oh my God, I think I sprained my eyes. I was rolling them so hard.
I'm glad I wasn't the only one. I was like,
No.
oh, my
No,
eyes all
everybody.
hurt.
Nobody has any patience for Mace Tyrell. His own mother, everyone on the small council, us, the audience, just nobody.
Okay,
Nobody
so-
has time for Mace Tyrell.
In this situation, I think that the mother should have taken over his job. Because I think she can do 1,000 times better than
Oh yeah.
whatever he can.
Heartbeat.
I'm like, dude, go get your mother, and you can come back when she signs a permission slip saying that it's okay for you to be here. Get out.
Yeah, and I Qyburn being the master of whispers, creeps me out, but I don't
well,
think that
especially after-
Pycelle was a better, Pycelle as an alternate choice isn't any better.
Nope.
Well, no, and I think what made me mad is the way Cersei just sat there smirking. She's like, me? I'm not the hand of the king. I'm just acting. I'm like, bitch, get the fuck out. Like, cause everything that she's doing, like you said, she doesn't see the big picture anymore. And everything that you're, like, all this that you're doing, you're not doing for the good of the kingdom, cause I don't, what was that, what's that quote about, if you forget the lessons of the past, they're doomed to repeat themselves?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Lannisters are about to feel what's going to happen like the Targaryens.
Yeah, Cersei's whole thing right now, I think, is that she's so afraid to give up the power that she has. She might have made some inroads by pulling a Marjorie and making people think that stuff was their idea. But instead, she's going the Tywin Lannister route of just bullying people into it. The thing is, Tywin had the military history to back up his threats. Cersei just has
Her family name.
Yeah, Cersei, I don't know, she's trying so hard to be Tywin, but
Yes.
she doesn't have that same gravitas or history or, she has her gender working against her.
She has her gender working against her in the fact that she could observe what Tywin would do, but when it came down to details and the way that things would be enacted, she was kept out of the loop of that. She saw the overarching things that he would do, but she didn't see the subtlety because she wasn't allowed to see the subtlety.
Right.
Well, I mean, like if we go back to like the Red Wedding, I don't think that she could have pulled that off. I think,
no.
Tyrion may have been able to. I don't think he's that ruthless, but he would have been able to pull something close to that off.
Right. He's not that ruthless to pull off that, but he is cunning enough to pull it off.
Right.
Cersei would have done something that was just all brute force, no finesse.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
for all that you can call the Wed Wedding finesse, which...
Yeah. Well, it was finessed pretty well.
Yeah.
I mean, if you make people feel safe in your own home and like, yeah, we're not going to attack you, and then surprise.
Just kidding, we totally attack you.
Yeah. And by the way, we slaughtered your wolf just because.
Ugh.
Yeah, Cersei would have sent an army in. She would have relied on the threat of brute force and shows of power. Tyrion, I think, would have tried to do, like, backroom dealing. Things like that.
Because he's always had to, because he's a dwarf and nobody takes him seriously.
Exactly.
Whereas to a certain extent, most people have always taken Cersei seriously, more seriously than they've ever taken Tyrion.
Except the one person who she wanted to.
Right.
Her father.
Right. But even her father took her more seriously than he took Tyrion.
He took her more seriously than he took Tyrion, but he didn't take her seriously.
Like, I think the only one he wanted to take seriously would have been Jaime. And Jaime's like, I don't want to do any of this.
Right. All right, so let's move on to the Vale. And Bran and Podrick are in the inn.
Why doesn't Bran just listen to Podrick? Oh my god.
My God, totally. Because she thinks she knows better. She thinks that Pod doesn't know anything.
But, okay, he's a terrible squire, yes. I mean, his writing skills have proved that. But he's also dealt with Tyrion, and I think he has, like, if he was with Tyrion a little bit longer, he probably would have been just as good as Tyrion. And like, when she's like, no, we shouldn't approach him, she's like, fuck you, let's go. And get the horses ready. We only have one horse. We'll find another. Did you not think this through?
Of course not.
Well, and
the more I think about it, I love Gwendolyn Christie, but I am liking TV Brienne way less than I like Book Brienne. Book Brienne has a lot more vulnerability to her.
Yeah.
okay.
Whereas TV Brienne she's brash, she doesn't think things through, she's angry.
Yeah.
And Book Brienne has a lot of that simmering under the surface, but she thinks things through a bit more.
Right. Well, I also think that in this case, they kind of, what is the word? Like, they've built her exterior up more. Like she kind of, you get the feeling that she feels that she has to be this way. She has to be assertive. Yeah. Otherwise, it's going to be back down, oh, you're a woman, and get back in your place.
They've masculinized her a lot.
Yes.
I feel like.
Yeah.
Yes. Did you happen to notice that Brienne towers over Baelish?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Sansa towers over him.
I didn't notice that.
He comes up to, like, Brienne's chest.
Yeah.
Barely.
He's looking her in
barely.
the sternum.
I was like, holy moly, she's extremely much. Was that on purpose, or is that how much taller she is than him in reality?
He's not a tall guy.
Okay.
And she is a very tall woman, but...
Yeah. She's like 6'3", and he's maybe 6'2". Now I gotta look up to see how tall he is.
I know.
Okay, well, while you do that, I want to know from you guys, do you think that Sansa made the right choice?
Wait, say that again?
Do you think Sansa made the right choice? I mean, obviously she's wary of strangers, as well she should be. But do you think she made the right choice in staying with Peter?
Nope.
Well, I mean, and okay, so this is another thing. I think it would have worked out a little bit better for Brienne if she had mentioned, hey, your sister's alive. And maybe you should come with me so that we can, I mean, yeah, Arya's long gone by now, but hey, maybe you should come with me. And I mean, I don't know where you're going to hide this poor girl, but I mean, Sansa is stuck between where is she going to go?
Yeah.
Exactly. From an audience point of view, it was so frustrating, but from, an in-character, in-world point of view, Sansa's making the smart decision. She's staying with a known person who is good at keeping things hidden, keeping information hidden, and has, as far as she knows, a plan. And Brienne is this person who, as has been pointed out, failed Renly, failed her mother, hasn't mentioned her sister, and has no perceivable plan. I mean, what's she going to do? Take her back to Winterfell? Oh, hey, Winterfell has been burned and taken over by the Boltons. So, yeah, that's gonna go real well. And incidentally, Aidan Gillen is 5'9".
Yeah, that was actually one of the tweets that I put, Littlefinger is so tiny compared to Brienne.
Yeah, it cracked me up.
Yeah, that was that was one thing that I noticed is, the other thing is that his guards are terrible. Cause he didn't mention my guards know what will happen if they fail me. And then she kills like 2 of them, knocks 2 of them out the way. I think she breaks somebody's nose on the way out. Like, I thought you had awesome guards there, Littlefinger.
Yeah, not so much.
Yeah, and of course, when they took off, we saw the scene from the trailer. We saw a brief scene in the original trailer that aired at the end of that they premiered at the IMAX with the 2 riders running off. We saw that scene finally. And as noted earlier, Pod is not a good rider.
But he's used to being in carriages with Tyrion. It's not his fault.
He's never had to be. I agree. He's never had to be. He also has bad aim.
I love that scene so much. Just, what a precious little puppy.
Like, I really think that if given the chance, I don't think he would have been a knight. I think he would have been...
I think he can be a good squire. I really do. But yeah, he'll never be a knight.
Okay, Pod was born to be someone's personal assistant.
Yes.
Yeah, I was going to say, give him a little bit more of a chance. I'm like, maybe he can be almost kind of sort of on the level of Tyrion and Varys, but not quite. Like, he thinks things through a lot faster or a lot better than Brienne does, because, it was his idea, like, hey, look, he recognized Sansa with the dark hair.
Yeah, he's clearly very observant.
And, he was like, well, we shouldn't go up to her. And then even afterwards, he's like, dude, Arya didn't want your help. Sansa didn't want your help. You're done. And she's like, nope, we're going to follow. Like, I don't think that's a good idea. Like, they're not going to notice a 6 foot, how tall is she? 6'3"?
6'2", 6'3".
She's 6'3", yeah.
Yeah, they're not going to notice a 6'3" blonde woman following them with a 5'4" dark squire. Nobody will notice that. You guys will blend right in.
All right, let's talk about Dorne next.
Yes.
I'm so angry with this.
I thought it was so cool to see Doran, or AKA Dr. Bashir.
Okay, so I know he looks nothing like the character is supposed to look from the books, but whatever, I think he's going to be fabulous.
I do too. Too.
Yeah, he is. I just, like, there is one line that I was kind of hoping that he would say. I was waiting and waiting for it, and he didn't say it, but I'm hoping next episode it'll be there.
We'll see. But of course we see Ilaria. I did like Ilaria, threatening, Arya Hota. I did like that.
Yes.
Because he's so tall and...
She gets right in his face.
And you know what? I believed her. She would totally got him.
You don't mess with Indira Varma, okay?
No.
I mean, we've seen the woman can't be killed.
No, she cannot.
She'll just keep coming back.
Just as a different time traveler.
Yes. So I guess she's going to be taking Ariane Martell's role in the show.
So that doesn't make any sense to me. The fact that, just the fact that she's so bent on revenge that she's willing to hurt Marcella. But, I mean, that goes back to what Oberyn didn't want, because that was his whole thing. He hated the fact that his sister and his nephew and niece were brutalized.
Yeah, but she's not technically part of their family, so she doesn't have that same compunction, I guess.
She not only doesn't have that same compunction, she saw the love of her life's skull crushed in front of her.
But I don't think that I would want to take that out on a child, especially one who's the exact opposite of her mother.
Some people take what they can get. Marcella's right there and conveniently available.
Yeah, revenge doesn't always make sense.
No, it doesn't.
I mean, read comic books. Some of those revenge plots they think up in comic books, I mean, downright convoluted.
And that's why women need to rule the world. Because my revenge plot would be 1,000 times better.
And that's also why Doran is the leader of Dorne and not her.
Right.
He has to think clearly. She's thinking of just this one occurrence. He has to think of the entire country. And he's actually thinking of the entire country. Yes, she's telling him the people want this. And sure, they probably do. But that's probably not in their best interest.
Right.
Well,
and like when he says, well, it's a good thing that the whole country's not making the choices.
Yeah.
He's right.
When something majorly catastrophic happens, yes, the mob wants vengeance. The leaders are supposed to keep a cool head and think about what's best for for everybody, not just go after vengeance.
Right.
Which is why Cersei, he just seems like, yeah, it looks like he's just sitting there in his wheelchair, but
you know
wheels
he's
are
planning
turning.
stuff.
Yeah, he probably already has some plot in motion that nobody knows about. He probably has, what's a weird plot or revenge plot that a guy would think of? He's probably going to chop off
Phantom of the Opera.
Yes. He's going to teach Marcella how to sing so beautiful and then
kidnap her and take her into I don't know, I lost my metaphor. But the point is, it's going to be really weird and tricky and convoluted and probably awesome and maybe involve singing.
That would make my night if it involves singing.
But he's right. You don't mutilate little girls for vengeance. That's just sick.
Well, and I mean, to be perfectly honest, this man, I can see his revenge being that she is going to have a good life away from her mother.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be that. I think, he's going to keep her away, but I don't think it's, I gave your daughter 1,000 times better life than what you can do. I think it's going to be something else. Cause, I mean, he's sitting there. I mean, nobody just sits there and looks out at what is it called? The water gardens?
Yeah.
The water gardens.
I mean, he's plotting some shit. He has to be. Dude, if he's not plotting something, my whole life will be ruined.
All right, let's go to the Wall. I love Shireen and Gilly together.
Yes. Oh my god, it was so fun.
It was so fun. And I liked the frank discussion about Shireen's grayscale.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And, but Selyse.
Oh, Selyse. You know who she was reminding me of in this scene? Mother Gothel from Tangled.
Yes, that's perfect. It's like
you can't have a friend. I am your friend. They're gonna hurt you. They're gonna kill you. Dude, just ease up. Let her have a friend. I mean,
she's like, I love you the most, but you're also a sin because you have grayscale. But I love you, and nobody else will love you. And then, like, Shireen's gonna bust out and take over the wall. That's what's gonna happen.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
But my favorite quote of that scene, and it was my vote for quote of the episode. I have an S.
Mine is Ostrich Stark. The little lovers quarrel between Gilly and Sam with that whole thing. I loved it.
All right, so let's move on to the scene where they're doing the vote.
I think we skipped over the I'll make you king of Winterfell.
Oh, that's right. We did skip over that. Let's go to Stannis first. Yes. And
Again,
Stannis offers Jon everything he's ever wanted. You know, he just has to pledge his fealty to him and he can be legitimized.
Well, and then on the other hand, like, I think she was a 10-year-old girl who wrote that note. Like, we'll only recognize this as a
I
start.
love that note. Well,
Like,
the Bear Island knows no king but the king of the north.
Well, look,
His
the
name
Mormont
is
women
Stark.
are just objectively the best.
Yeah, his name is Stark.
Like, I just, like, again, someone who doesn't get it. Like, okay, sure, you're going to put Jon Snow as, you know, the Stark back in Winterfell, but one, how are you going to get it back from the Boltons? Two, you're expecting Jon to lead the Wildling army, I'm assuming. They're not going to follow him if he bends the knee. Duh. And
Well, they're not going to follow him whether he bends the knee or not.
no, I think that when he put Mance out of his misery, that they gained
He earned their...
Yeah, he scored a couple points.
He
Yeah.
earned respect, but I don't know that they would allow him to lead them as an army.
Well, I think some of them might. Like, I'm going to give, like, we know that some of the Night's Watchmen look up to him.
Yeah.
I mean, even though he's young, one of the younger ones, I mean, he knows how to lead, you know, and I think that's one of the things that he's picked up from Ned Stark is how to be a leader, not just how to lose your head. Is that where you're
Speaking of which, when he said, "What kind of Lord would I be if I, you know, dishonored myself?" and I'm here thinking, probably a live one.
Yeah.
Dun,
Yeah.
dun.
Well, I kind of get the, I'm drawing a parallel in my head between Stannis and Dany in that both of them are in completely foreign,
Lands.
domains for them, territories for them. They don't understand the culture and they're approaching it completely wrong.
They're approaching it the way that, basically, that you would approach King's Landing.
Yeah.
And neither
Yeah,
places are King's Landing.
Stannis thinks he can just go in there and act like the king and everybody's just going to fall in line. And that's just not going to happen. That
Well,
was
and,
never going to just happen.
like, I will give Cersei this. Back in season 1, she said, you know, the North is too big to control. Like, yeah, you can send some people in there to try to take it, but winter's coming and you're going to die. So I will give her, she did realize that, and Stannis doesn't get that. I mean, he thinks that he's just going to take an army, march north, and, or in this case, south.
I think he thinks that because he has religion on his side, it's going to help, and it's like, there's a little bit more to it than that, dude.
But at the same time, he does know that it's more difficult than that because Robert has told him that the only reason that he was able to keep the North under control was with the help of Ned Stark.
And even then, it was difficult.
Yeah. So, I don't know. But let's go to the election for the new Lord Commander of the Night's Watch.
Sam, you wonderful bastard.
Sam made me so happy.
Sam getting his snark game on.
Slint cowering in
With the women and the children.
In a puddle of his own making.
Oh my god.
It was kind of cool to see, though, Dennis Mallister, commander of the Shadow Tower. That was cool. And although his speech was a little derogatory to Jon, Alliser was still, I think, respectful of him, of what he did.
Well, I mean, I would think that you'd have to be. I don't know if, like, you know, you have to know that Stannis is not meeting with you. He's meeting with Jon numerous times.
Yeah.
So, and then, I mean, I would think that you would try to make nice with Stannis through Jon. Yeah, you're gonna probably put Jon in charge of the porta potties if you had won.
Right. Well, yeah, he's definitely going to exact his revenge, but he's enough of a politician to recognize a worthy adversary, whereas Slint has no concept of that.
Oh yeah, he's just a dick.
No.
In every sense of the word.
Yeah. So of course we get our vote and a tie between Jon and Alistair and Aemon Maester Aemon casts the deciding vote. How awesome was that?
I like how he just smirked at the end, like, yeah, bitches.
Yes. So
Well,
when we were watching,
oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
when we were watching, they say, the square tokens for this guy, the circles for this guy. They never say what Jon's token is. So when we're watching, my husband's like, okay, all the votes for Jon, just pee in the bucket.
Nice.
Nice.
I also had another thought while watching the scene. That cloak that Kit Harington wears for Jon Snow has got to be smelly as hell.
Well, maybe they have several ones. I was actually thinking, like, do they wash that? Like, how do you wash that without it coming apart?
Dry cleaning?
I don't think you can. No, the chemicals might tear it, might disintegrate it.
Like, do you just, does he like, hey guys, this smells like old toes. Can you, and then like, oh, here's a new one.
This smells like old toes.
So, old toes.
I meant old people toes.
Yeah, that makes it so much better.
Right. That's exactly what I was just thinking.
It's better than like toes that are kept in a bottle or something, for longer than their expiration date.
Oh.
Ugh.
Hey, we can do shrunken toes.
We're not going to.
Or like that one bar in Colorado that has the, it's like toe wine.
That sounds disgusting.
Oh, I don't want to know.
Oh,
you
I'll
don't
tell
know
y'all
about
after we're done
No, I don't
recording.
want to know.
Google toe wine, everybody.
No.
Oh, my internet just went out. Tragic.
Funny, you're still here.
God, Rachel, I almost got away with it.
We're going to move on to Marine.
I have so much things about Dany.
Me too, and they're probably different.
I did enjoy Dario and Grey Worm finding the house of the son of the Harpy.
That was pretty amazing.
He's been using the Second Sons as spies throughout Marine, since they're far less conspicuous than in Unsullied, and they're kind of having an argument. Do you think that argument was staged, or were they really genuinely having that argument while he's figuring out where this guy is?
I feel like they've been having like ongoing little mini arguments as the season's been going on.
Yeah.
Probably because I think Grey Worm liked, okay, no, I'm confused. No, I'm wrong. It was, that Dothraki dude that was like friends with Jorah.
Oh, okay. No, I do think that Grey Worm likes Dario. I think that he likes arguing with Dario too.
Well, I kind of felt that Dario purposely picked the fight.
Yeah.
As a distraction. I don't think that the argument was staged. I think he picked it on purpose.
Okay.
But that's how I took it. We could all be wrong.
And of course we see the council debating, Dany and the council debating on executing the Harpy son. Which devolves into a shouting match between Mosidor and Hizdar. That's who that was, Hizdar. I couldn't remember who that was. And, the rest leave, and we see Sir Barris and Selmy tell her about her father. And I thought that was a great scene, and you can almost see her relief in finding out that her dad was as mad as they thought he was, as they said he was.
Like, just to go on that, just like if Daenerys ever plans to actually go to Westeros instead of hanging around Slaver's Bay, she really has to stop calling Robert the usurper. And because it makes it sound like he purposely set out to do this rebellion for no other reason than to take the throne. And it just completely, like, what was it, Brandon, and what was the other, Rickard Stark?
Yeah, Brandon and Rickard.
Okay, it just makes their death seem like, oh, well, you shouldn't have fucked up.
Well, up until now, she's only heard one side of the story.
Viserys.
And that was from Viserys, who was mad himself.
So question on that, not on him being mad, but on Barristan, do you think that he knew about the wildfire underneath King's Landing?
I don't think he could not know about it. I'm sure especially being a Kingsguard, he had to know about it.
Cause I don't think then I was thinking about like, okay, you see all these terrible things that he's done. You've heard him rape his wife. You've seen him hang one man, burn another man alive. He turned against people who were his friends at one point because he thought they were out to get him. So Jaime clearly didn't know that there was any, or did he? I think that's where I got confused.
I think Jaime knew too. Cause if you remember, I can't remember who it was that asked him what Ares said when he killed him, and he said, burn them all. And he kept yelling, burn them all, burn them all, burn them all. He had to have known. But at the same time, what can he do about it?
Well, he did something.
Yeah, exactly. He did exactly what he could do about it.
Jaime Lannister taking care of business.
And that's when he puts on the shades.
But yeah, did you think that she was relieved to hear that those stories were true?
I didn't get that impression. I'll have to go back and rewatch it now.
I didn't feel like she was relieved. I felt like she thought that it was something like, you know, when you get information that you lacked before that is like absolutely vital in making a decision for you.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's something like that, but it's like really, really bad information.
Right.
And it's coming from somebody where she can't just dismiss it as propaganda.
Right. I think that's what she tried to do at first, because she's like, oh, no, you're using the usurper's name for him. And he's like, hold up. Like, this is what he did. This is why he was called the Mad King. Don't do this. Like, he thought that this was justice, and it was not justice. He killed these people without a trial.
So it's
and he
like
laughed.
Yeah, it's more like her being like, oh shit, I'm gonna have to, like, no matter what, if I go to Westeros, if I stay here, no matter what, I'm going to have something to watch out for, this perception.
Yeah. And I think that's what she didn't have before. Like, she was like, I think it was I can't remember if it was last episode or last season, because they're all running together at this point, but she was like, justice is justice. It's like, no, it's not. You wouldn't punish, two different crimes the same way. And right. I don't think she's very young and idealized.
Yeah, she's very idealistic. And an observation that the people I was watching the episode with, you can't just confront Dany. She will double down on her decision. You have to take her off aside and explain to her why this suggestion is a bad idea.
Or why it is a good idea, like with Dario and the fighting pits.
But so she does decide on the trial, and then Mosador goes and kills him.
Yeah, so on that, I don't, like, when he was telling us, like, oh, I did it for you, I'm like, that's a lie. You did it because you were afraid of going back into slavery. Like, you felt like these people were gonna take over. Basically, you felt oppressed for so long that you feel that what you did was justified. Cause you didn't.
I think that's definitely.
Because it wasn't revenge for, as far as we know, the Harpies and I could be wrong, the Harpies have only killed White Rat. And he was an Unsullied, so you didn't do it out of revenge for him. You did it out of fear of what was going to happen to you if Dany, like, say Dany's like, screw this,
he did it out of for vengeance for his own slavery. That's why he did it.
At the same time, though, just to comment on what she was saying, I don't think that White Rat was the only death.
No.
I think White Rat was just the one they showed us.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, that's what I was confused on, because it's like, as far as I could tell, they've only targeted the Unsullied. They haven't mentioned any other slaves being killed.
Right. And I did like her publicly executing Mosador like that was obviously a mistake.
Well,
agreed.
If you're going to give a speech, I mean, it should have been like the, hold on, I wrote it down. It was, where are you?
But,
oh, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth would lead to a world of the blind and toothless. I think she should have led with that. Like, you can't do what you want, but not publicly execute him. I really don't think she should have done that. I think she should have given a speech like, you can't say, oh, justice is justice, and you can't have justice without freedom. You should have,
but at the same time, her argument with Mosador in the temple, I think she was correct, because he's coming at it, well, they were the law before, and now you are the law. She's like, no, the law is the law. But at the same time, I think that she is making the same mistake that a lot of conquerors make. They go in, and you can't go into a place that operates completely different than what you are used to, and the way that you think things should run, and think that entire mindset is just going to change overnight just because you're there and you changed it. That doesn't happen.
Yeah, it should have been more of a slow and gradual thing, and she just went in and, well, you let your dragons roam free, and they take whatever they want. And then on the other hand, you're like, oh, and by the way, this is justice because it's the law. Like, the law is the law.
Yeah.
But, I mean...
Well, and she has to teach them that the rule of law, people don't trust the rule of law until they see it in action. And there hasn't been enough of it in action for them to trust it. They trusted in her. And, the slaves trusted in her. The masters don't trust her at all.
But I think there's a difference though in how they see her, because we were talking about this at work today. It's like, because I'm of the opinion that Dany made the biggest mistake she possibly could have made. And one of my coworkers was like, no, she needed to show them. And I said, yeah, but that wasn't the right way to do it.
No. Yeah,
and he
I
said,
agree.
Not at all.
She needed to be a queen. She needed to show that she was the queen. And I said, but they don't see her as a queen. They see her as mother.
Yes.
Right.
Which is why a public execution in that fashion was a mistake.
Well, for any side,
if that is the punishment, if that is the punishment for what he did, okay, then you mete out that punishment. Then you explain, you come and you do that, but you do not do it publicly like that, because you're just creating exactly what happened. But you have to come out and explain to them, okay, this person was executed without a trial, and for that reason, this person had to be punished. Both people had to be punished, but you have to allow the trial to have the process. And she did have to a certain extent, I agree with you, Rachel. To a certain extent, she had to act like a mother and walk them through that. They don't see it that way because they don't understand it. They've never seen it before.
Right.
I think the problem here is that previously the law that had been in the city was weighted heavily in favor of, the masters of the city.
Absolutely.
Right.
And so the slaves of the city were hoping for change. But what they get, the first public demonstration of the new law, is just the same as the old law.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, agree. I totally agree with that. And actually, the thing that I like about this storyline, I like the way that they've accelerated it compared to the books. And I know people don't necessarily, people who are show fans don't like a lot of talk about the books, and I can understand that. But in the books, this entire process was so boring. So boring. But I do like it. Aside from that, I do like the fact that she is struggling. She is not the perfect ruler. She's not the conqueror that frees the slaves and comes in and she's just good at being a leader. She has to learn the process. She has to learn how to do it right. She has the empathy. She has the compassion. She has the intelligence. Now she has to figure it out. And I like the fact that they're letting her do that. And that's one of the reasons why I liked this series from the beginning, is that you don't have the tried and true, okay, the perfect guy comes in, or the perfect person comes in, knocks it all over, knocks over the anthill, sits on top of the anthill, and everything's good.
Right.
Yeah, no.
When you knock over an anthill, everything's messy.
You see ants
Yeah,
running
and
all over the fucking place.
In this case, the ants are really unhappy about it.
Yes, they are.
They started hissing.
Was that scary or what?
That just from
Okay, so that was kind of hilarious to me because at the college I went to. Well, okay, here's why it was hilarious to me. The college I went to, the thing was, the football games, you don't boo, you hiss. So it reminded me of being back in college at a football game.
Okay.
Nice.
I mean, except for the beheading and the riot afterwards. But other than that.
And we see Drogon.
Who?
Drogon.
He's a big boy.
Drogon is back.
He just came by to say, hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
There's no dinner. Okay, I'm out. Do my
Mom's like,
laundry.
your curfew's 10 o'clock, and he's like, fuck you, I do what I want. And then he goes out to party with his friends.
I do what I want.
That's exactly what I imagined from him. Like, hey,
When
I brought
dragons
my
go
laundry.
bad tonight at 7.
No,
brought my
the way
laundry.
like he was a college kid. Hey, do you have food? Oh, there's nothing here. Where are my brothers? Oh, they're not here. Here's my laundry. I'll be back at 10 for it.
All right, so let's move on to final thoughts. We need to start wrapping this up. We've been talking way too long. I just had a couple. First of all, I forgot and had it pointed out by Scientific on Twitter that Winterfell has the sigil of the Boltons on top of it now.
Yeah, didn't we talk about that?
I don't remember talking about the Boltons being on, we talked about the fact that it wasn't smoking and in ruins anymore, but we did not talk about the Boltons their sigil being on top of it anymore. At least I don't remember that.
That makes me so sad.
I know. It kind of makes me angry.
They're gonna get what's coming to them, those bastards.
And, the boob and butt count on this episode was 0.
I know, it was crazy.
What the heck show were we watching?
How did I not notice that? I guess I was distracted by giant Colossus dong.
Yes.
That's what it was.
So you were picturing your own. Okay. Final thoughts, Rachel?
I think that, I'm still, waiting for the other shoe to fall in Marine and pretty much everywhere, but I still think that Dany has done is going to have much more far-reaching repercussions than she thinks.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
The next book is going to be called A Fall of Shoes.
Nikki?
I just want Daenerys to hurry up and get back to Westeros, stop calling Robert the usurper. I basically just want her to hurry up and get over to Westeros, and I can't wait for Arya to do that face-changey thing.
And Lauren?
Let's see. It's just so fantastically acted that even when there's stuff that annoys me, like, oh, this isn't how it went in the books, because as much as I try, I still find myself thinking that a lot.
Right.
I look forward to seeing the performances every week. I continue to look forward to the Tyrion and Varys and Jaime and Bronn road shows.
Oh, those are gonna be amazing, y'all.
I know. And I can't wait to see more of Dorne.
Yeah.
With the sand snakes, even though we're only gonna see 3 of them.
Yeah.
So excited.
Okay.
I know there's no socially acceptable place to say the South will rise again, except if you're talking about Dorne.
Yes. Yes.
That is the only time it is acceptable. Because other than that, if I see it on a truck, I'm going to ram it.
Now let's continue the conversation over at the Tyrion's Landing Facebook page. Tell us your thoughts and your favorite moments of the show. You can also tweet those thoughts to us on Twitter, or email them to us at gmail.com. And all of the links we spoke about will be up on our Pinterest page. Nikki also shares the fun Tumblr things she finds on our Tumblr page as well.
Funny.
Well, it says Tyrion's Landing, but it's Nikki's. And, Lauren, did you have anything you wanted to plug?
Yeah. Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. records live every week, Wednesday at 8 Central, 9 Eastern PM. And, if you're interested in listening to us talk live before all the edits and everything, You can go listen to us at gonnageek.com/live. Our website is legendsofshield.com. You can find all our information there. And I'm on Twitter at Sithwitch. So you can find a lot more dick jokes there.
And you can find more, what are they called?
Dick jokes?
Podcasts that you might enjoy over at...
That's not what I thought she was going to say. Huh.
over at
Apparently.
gonnageek.com. All things good and nerdy. With Anthony and Naki away, what does Chris do? Call in reinforcements, that's what. This week, Stargate Pioneer joined the show, and he and Chris break down the new trailers, Star Wars and Batman vs. Superman. If you love Star Wars, Marvel, or Batman, this is the show to watch this week. Or if you want to listen to Chris and SP fight Google Hangouts and win, tune in. Those over at gonnageek.com. All things good and nerdy. And we thank you for listening, and we will see you next time.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
You know, I really thought Lauren was going to say, I want to plug these Ron's nuts.
The music used in Tyrion's Landing was created by our friend Kier Hansen. The views expressed are those of the speaker and do not reflect the views of any other person or entity. Game of Thrones is the property of HBO. No infringement is intended.